Okay, it looks like we are live. I am trying something a little bit different this week. Typically, for the last however long, I have been doing these weekly energy forecasts in my Facebook community, the Lightwalkers Path, which, if you're not a member of that community, I would absolutely love to have you there. But what I recognize is that there's a whole bunch of people who aren't in the community and who maybe like Facebook pages just isn't their thing, or Facebook groups just isn't their thing. And I thought it would be really fun to actually switch this up. Now, typically I do these around 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time on a Monday. However, this day was bananas and completely got away from me. And so I wanted to come on and still honor that connection so that I could come and be with you and give you an idea about what the energies we have coming up this week are so that you can get the most out of them. Um, and it's also really fun to, towards the end of the week, to come back and just like have a little peek, either review the video or take a look at your notes if you jot things down, just to see how that energy has fared for you personally. Now, the other thing that I like to always say is that energy is not a linear thing. So it's not really bound by time. And if you come across this video 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years from now, there is still a message within it for you. So I really do encourage you not to be swayed by the date on the video. If something comes through your feed, there's a reason. And sometimes it's a little nudge from your guides to let you know that this is a message for you. So I do really encourage you to do that. Okay. So every week before I do these calls, I take a moment and I tune in and I ask my guides to bring forward the message that the people who are going to see this video, again, whether it's this week or any other time, most need to hear right now. And so the first, I pulled a few cards actually that came through this time. It was really funny because they were all just emphasizing the initial message. And that was for us to be really mindful about where we're putting our focus. Now, it's interesting that this comes up right now because last week we had this super potent full moon, which kicked a lot of people's asses. But what I really experienced in my own practice, and certainly what I saw within my clients, was that it was this energetic housekeeping where we were clearing out all the space of things that just weren't serving us anymore. And so now we have this beautiful co-creative space within ourselves, and we say, now what? What do we do with that? And the big part of that is getting crystal clear on what it is that we want to call in, what we want to create, what we want to do next. The pandemic has been wonderful for this, believe it or not. So many people, because they had the rug pulled out from under them with their jobs and their lives, they started to recognize how dependent they were on other people dictating what their success looked like and what was available to them. And so a lot of people started creating entrepreneurial journeys and really started to just take themselves more seriously and decided that like this is the last time that's going to happen and they're going to create this foundation for themselves. So that would be a perfect example of this beautiful intentional focus in action. And it doesn't have to necessarily be about work specifically, but just that we're being really clear about what it is that we're calling in. If we're seeking romantic partnerships, well, then we're being really clear about who that person is. And we're even doing some of that energetic housekeeping within ourselves to ready ourselves for that beautiful partnership. If it is a new job, or if we are looking to plan a family, or whatever that looks like, the more vivid and more tangible we can be in how we use all of our senses when we're envisioning that work, the easier it is for us to call it into fruition, because now it's not just some like general concept. It's super specific. We know how it feels. We know how it looks. We know how it impacts our lives. And that's the kind of stuff that real powerful manifestation happens with, because we need to have that tangibility. If it's just some kind of nebulous idea, it's really hard for the universe to be able to deliver anything to us in that way. It's really important too, though, that this doesn't become all work and no play. When we just put our nose to the grindstone, and because we have this beautiful focus, it does sometimes manifest in ways like workaholicism, or just really like untenable to-do lists where you never really feel like you're getting ahead and winning. And so you need to factor in some fun, where you're having some lightness to things, where you're enjoying yourselves, where you're taking breaks and you're doing silly things and you're stretching your legs and you're getting some fresh air, where you're just actually enjoying your life. If everything becomes about the hustle and the grind, it really quickly starts to take a toll on you. And I know there are a lot of mentors that are in this space that will tell you that like you just have to work your ass off for a few years of eating shit sandwiches, and eventually that's going to pay off. And there is a degree of that where we're being asked to focus on what we want and to go after it, but not at the expense of our joy and our happiness. So you need to make sure if it's not fun, if you're not enjoying yourself, then something isn't fully aligned. And maybe it's because you're not giving yourself enough time and space. Maybe it's not actually the right thing that you're pursuing. Be open to that and use that lack of joy as like that's like the bell that goes ding. Okay, I need to make a change here. Something isn't quite right. So use that as like your red flag. And the other thing is just being really mindful about what it is that you're thinking and speaking into the universe. This is really interesting because what they're showing me is that this is really also tied to our health. Our belief systems have such a profound impact on our health. It's the reason why you hear about people who have terminal illnesses and have this just relentless positive thinking, and they're able to turn their lives around. And I'm not saying that that's actually like a cure-all, but it definitely does have an impact. So it's not just the universe that's like eavesdropping on your thoughts and feelings and energies. It's also every cell of your body. So there is this constant, it is an invitation for us to be constantly vigilant about what we're thinking and feeling and saying and speaking into the universe, so that we are calling in the right things, and so that we're using our beliefs to attract these things that feel really good and joyous for ourselves and aren't just feeling heavy and shitty and hard all the time. Okay, so that is that. So we are going to try this for a little while, where every week I'm going to come live on Monday mornings around 10 a.m. Pacific here on this page. I'll share it into my Facebook community. If you're not already a member of the Lightwalkers Path and you are looking for some like-minded souls who are doing inner work, who are committed to truth, who are really just on this journey and in it, I would absolutely love to have you be a member. So hop on in, request some membership, answer the couple of questions that are waiting for you, and we will see you there. Have a wonderful rest of your day, my loves. Take care.